Alright folks, welcome to this exciting video where we've come to look at some of my favourite carved stones in Scotland folks. It's some Pictish stones and they're here at the little village of Aberlemno. Now this is a more modern replica of what one of the stones may have looked like when it was new, and the detail in the stone carving is incredible. But yeah, it's cool to see how detailed they may have been at one time when they were first carved. Some of these standing stones that sit at Aberlemno here have been taken from other places and then placed here. But yeah, it's cool to compare the old ones with the new one which is here. And it's literally massive. I love the carving of those like dragons there or whatever they are. Yeah, there we go folks. Look at this, the boy's got all his bailing done here now. And look at that stunning view over the landscape here. Aberlemno, Angus, Scotland folks. It's about halfway between Forfar and Brechin, and it's just a picturesque little village. And these stones are a real special thing to be here really, because they're not just little carved stones, they're absolutely massive. So yeah, let's go and take a look. So it is a little bit windy out here, but that's because these stones are positioned on like a high pinnacle of land here, overlooking the Angus countryside. And look at this, this is one of the biggest and most impressive stones here at this Aberlemno site. It's absolutely incredible. The detail and the carving. When a lot of these stones were carved and put up, it's when Christianity was sweeping across Britain. The Christians came here to preach a new way of life to the barbarians which at one time roamed these lands here. And yeah, the impressive massive stone carvings was part of that. It's quite interesting. There's a lot of these symbols that you often see on like a lot of different types of Pictish stone all over the place. They all had like similar, it's probably like a language they had, each symbol represented something. Yeah, it's quite impressive folks. Look at this. The detail of the stone. I was here before one time with like my old camera, but this camera's going to be so much better for seeing like the detail in the stone. It's so interesting to see. You can see men on horseback, and pipers piping. So cool folks. This one's called the Roadside Cross. This roadside cross here and also the one down at the church are the two most impressive stones here at Aberlemno. But we'll go down and take a look at the one at the church after. We'll see these three at the roadside first. I think one of these stones here is actually a replica of a stone which was broken when it was ploughed up, because some of these stones here are like buried under the ground for years, and it's not until like a farmer's ploughing that they come across them and unearth them, and then they realise that there's tons of cool stuff like carved on them. Look at this one folks. There's not much like details. This one's called the Crescent Stone. Look at it here folks. Yeah, like I said, the cross stones are definitely the most impressive ones, just because of like the size of them and the amount of carving. But not only that, the length of time they've stood here on the land, it's like so incredible. Ancient history, like you can't even imagine like what the world must have been like back then. It's just incredible. Look at this one here folks. This one here is called the Serpent Stone, and look at the detail on it. It is so cool. Just think how long these patterns have been carved into this stone for. It's mind blowing. And it's just amazing. You can see the serpents curling and coiling their way across the pattern, and then the back of it's not actually carved. It has got these weird hollows, kind of indentations in it, which is strange. Wow, yeah folks, it's just another cool little location in Angus, which is like ancient history. And look, this is what they're telling us about it. Got spiders and stuff crawling over my finger, folks. It was just on my face. That's what you get out here in Scotland. Some of those wee spiders can like float through the air on their web, and then when you're walking about they just land on you. Anyway folks, yeah, that's the 3 roadside Pictish stones of Aberlemno, and it's so cool. I can hear a little aeroplane waiting to go overhead. But now we've seen these 3 stones, we'll go down and take a look at the best stone, which is down at the church, in the churchyard. I'm not sure if there's actually a church like service on today, because currently this is Sunday morning, folks. Just look at this, folks. This is the quaint little church of Aberlemno, and in the grounds of here is where the ancient Pictish stone stands, and it has done for many years. I'm not actually sure if it was moved here from a different location or if it's always stood here, but yeah, the carving and the detail in this stone here is so cool. So before I got in my car there, also up the road, I was speaking to a lady at the hall. Shout out to you if you're watching this video. But I've just been informed that it's Open Doors Angus Day, and we're going to go and get a look at the old Pictish stones which are up in the hall, because in another 10 minutes they're open. So that'll be a real interesting thing we've never seen on this channel before, folks. The old Pictish stones. I think they used to be on display at a museum at the Brecon Castle Centre. So yeah, interesting folks. Anyway, let's look at this magnificent stone here. This is the one which we saw at the start of the video. There's a new version of this stone that they've made, but this is how the original stone looks after all these years. Some of the details are worn off, but they're still really in pretty good condition, to be honest. Look at that, the men on horseback, stuff like that. You can see the serpents up at the top are more worn, because obviously around the edge of the stone it'll be catching all the weather. And around this side, look at this. See the amount of work they've gone to carve like this far into the stone. It's just incredible, folks. Check that out. Look at the patterns on this, like it's just unreal. Just to think of like the skill it takes to carve a stone like that. The size of the thing. It's mind blowing, folks. It's incredible, but history's like this here, just in the Angus countryside, hidden here at this wee church. Again, this is the sort of little village you could never even know exists unless you had a reason to come down some of these like little roads. And it's just stunning. The whole landscape around here is just amazing. Look at the church, it's got like the old cast iron bells still up there with the rope coming down. Wow, real history, folks, right here on the channel this week. It's been incredible. So it's cool to come and document these stones, so like every year that passes as they degrade and that, you can see how they were. If any of the details or patterns go missing, it's like, it's cool to see how they were this day at this time. Anyway folks, we'll head back up and see if we can get into the little museum up here. That'll be pretty cool. Yeah, such a nice little spot at this quaint little church here. Probably built way back 1700s, maybe even earlier. Again, maybe there's been a little carrick here since that stone was put here. Again, maybe it's just ancient times. Sometimes modern churches can be built on the site of like an ancient carrick. So, who knows, folk, the ancient history. So we've come back up to the hall here at Aberlemno, folks, and we're away to take a look at the Pictish room, which is the museum that contains all the Pictish artefacts and stones that's been found around Angus in this area over all the years gone by. So it's going to be cool. Look, let's go. Look at this, folks. We're in the museum here. Now look, this is the Churchyard stone here. 1787. Wow. Was found in the foundations of the Churchyard Parish Church, which was probably founded way back in these days. That one also was found in the foundations of the Churchyard Parish Church. There's such a crazy variety of carvings in here, it's incredible. Like, it seems to be a lot of stuff like boars, deer and stuff that probably was running about on the hills back then. AD 600. That's about the era that a lot of these stones were kind of like carved. This is another Churchyard stone here. There we go, folks. It's so interesting to see that. These different stones. That's another bit of Angus history documented right here. It's crazy to think these original stones were like in the foundations of the old parish church in Kerry. Shows how long ago even that place dates to. Anyway, folks, we'll head on it here. I think we've seen most of the stones. Yeah, that's been really interesting. Super cool. Wow. So that's it, folks, we're heading out. It's been cool. Thanks very much to the Aberlemno people here that are, I'm assuming they're voluntary here today, letting people in and out for open door Angus. Respect to that. That's super sound. It's so cool to think that a lot of these stones were buried under like the foundations of churches and stuff in Angus. Again, they get unearthed thousands of years later, which is super cool. Anyway, folks, I'll end this video here. Thanks very much for watching. We'll see you in the next video very soon.